So this is going to be a video response to Mr. Adam Jimmy Neese. I'll try and put a link in the description box down below to his channel. If you watch the podcast, you know who he is. He's always on the podcast with me. He put out a challenge to really everyone to make a video saying what the Second Amendment means to them. And so that's what I want to do here today. And I encourage everybody to do the same thing. Even if you don't make videos, just pick up your phone one day while you're driving to work. Turn it on. Just talk about what the Second Amendment means to you. Post it up somewhere. I think it's important for people who may not understand why people believe in the Second Amendment. That's 200 and something years old. That's ancient. That's outdated. But people need to understand why it's important. And maybe just hearing why it's important from you might change somebody's mind. Maybe it won't, but maybe it will. So what does the Second Amendment mean to me? Well, in the simplest possible terms, it means freedom and liberty. Period. That's the simplest way I can describe it. Now, what I mean by that is there is no freedom without the freedom to defend yourself against any and all forms of tyranny, whatever that may be. Whether that is a criminal, or whether that's a corrupt government, whether that's some sort of foreign entity, whatever it may be, there is no true freedom if you cannot defend your own life. And that's what the Second Amendment is about. And that's also why it says the right to keep and bear arms. Arms. It doesn't just say guns. Arms. Any and all forms of weapons that you could use to defend yourself. And that's what the intention was, is to create a free society where not only did the people, the citizens, have to rely on someone else to protect them, but as they had just experienced with a very tyrannical government, Great Britain, they didn't want the people to ever have to worry about their government coming after them. They knew times would change, things would go on. They knew that society would evolve into other things, but they wanted people to always have that means to protect themselves against any sort of corruption or tyranny. It was actually the *1 reason why the Second Amendment was so important to them. Throughout history, every single time a government or a king or a president or a prince or anything like that came in and took away weapons from the people. And it's happened time and time again throughout the entirety of human history. I mean, the Egyptians used to disarm the people that they would then turn around and enslave. It happened from then. It still happens today. It's exactly what just happened in Venezuela. In 2012, they banned firearms in Venezuela. And today, that country is in full revolution. And the people can't really fight back. There are videos out there on the internet. And when the people rose up and tried to protest their government, as should be their right, what did the government do? The military rolled in there in MRAPs and started running people over. In every single instance throughout history of a government of any form coming in and disarming the people, it then became tyrannical and turned the people essentially into slaves, either in name or in action. And that's why the Second Amendment is so important. It is supposed to be this wall, this barrier that is constantly there. It is supposed to be this constant threat to the government to say, hey, don't mess with the people. You can do a lot. We've given you a lot of power. But if you go too far, we'll keep you in check. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that our founders put into place. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. That's a good thing to have that barrier in place, because no government is perfect. People on the left surely think that about today's government, don't they? They hate Donald Trump. Do they really want him, the military and the police, to be the only ones with the weapons to defend themselves? The Second Amendment is for everyone. It is there to protect everyone. And that's why the Second Amendment is important to me.